Alright, what is up boys and girls, welcome back to another video on liquidity, supply and demand. As always, thank you very much for joining me, checking out this 80% win rate strategy that I've been trading over the past 6 or 7 months now. The V-shaped recovery strategy that I've seen 3 or 4 people talking about over the past year or so. I finally picked up the strategy and started trading it myself. And to be honest, it's been absolutely ridiculously incredible. The amount of wins that I've been getting and the consistency that I've finally found in the markets. And to be honest, the understanding of the markets that I never really truly had before. I feel like I can really figure out now where the market might potentially go and then trade accordingly, and just a bit more understanding about, how the market moves, what it needs to move, and how it always targets your stop loss. The market is essentially a stop loss hunter. So in this video, I'm going to be going through the strategy, how the strategy works basically, and then also going over some examples of trading from yesterday that I took for myself on my futures accounts. So as always, please do drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you do want signals or alerts for this strategy, which has a really good around 80% win rate, potentially more in the current conditions because they're so good, you can join the private Discord in the description below. Go get involved in that. There's already people signing up every day. Community is growing and things are looking good. So just going to quickly go over the strategy then. If we take a look, basically the strategy is this. So we've got our market structure. We're going sideways in, you would say, an accumulation phase in a bit of a range like this. You're obviously forming levels of liquidity that you can sweep. Generally speaking, I like to use only long in current market conditions just because we are basically at all-time highs and the market has got such a bullish bias. Despite having potential drops on the day, usually you see the market recover like this. So I'll be looking for longs mostly, pretty much exclusively to be honest at the moment. Basically we've got our accumulation, or the range that we put in. We come down, we get our manipulation below, sweeping out all this liquidity, all the stop losses that people have got below here. As I said before, the market is a stop loss hunting machine, and there'll be tons of people that have their stop losses below levels like this. Lots of liquidity that the market can sweep up and use to then move back to the upside. And then basically what you're looking for is you've got your accumulation, your manipulation, and then you're looking for catching that distribution leg, the AMD concept, where you basically come back up to the upside like this. Everyone gets stopped out and then the trade goes in their favor and they're all left wondering what the hell happened basically. So let me get rid of this so it's a bit less confusing. So basically this is what we're looking for. We're looking for our lovely little consolidation, this manipulation and this V shape with lots of momentum back to the upside. And then the entry condition for me is this fair value gap to the downside that you'll often get because you'll have a lot of momentum coming through this level. If you see a fair value gap getting inverted back to the upside like this, then you'll generally be looking at getting a good strong move back to the upside. So let's say we come back up, we close like this after getting this lovely liquidity sweep. Obviously we've been consolidating for a while, we get the sweep, the V shape back up. This generally happens for best results looking something like this where it takes only a few candles. You'll get your big fair value gap like this, you close back above, and then you're looking to have your stop loss below the fair value gap, targeting a 1-for-1 like this. And then you'll basically have a manual stop loss. If you close back below this level here, you'll close the position, and then you'll target a 1-for-1. Price will usually do something like this, retest the fair value gap, come up, hit your 1-for-1. At this point, I'll take half the position off and set the rest to break even as a runner. And then I'll generally just target have one runner around halfway up the move and then one runner at the high of day. Because we're at all-time highs, we generally do run back to the high of day an awful lot. And this is essentially the strategy. So I'm going to spare you the boring details and just show you some examples because that's always the best way to learn. So obviously we've got our 3-minute time frame here. We actually did have a really good trade yesterday. If you take a look at the charts here, you can see obviously we had quite an unusual opening, to be honest. Where was open here? We were kind of going sideways, consolidating. We came up, we swept the high. But this really bearish reaction down here, swept out all this liquidity, as you can see. And then we were kind of grinding back to the upside here. I think there was a long in here that I actually took. Let me have a look here. Yesterday was a bit of a strange day for trading because there wasn't really a clean move back to the upside until later on, which is a bit unusual. But I'll show you the trade that I took. So we're obviously looking here. I'm thinking, okay, this is good. We've come down. We've swept loads of liquidity. I'm basically going to be looking for an entry potentially. Kind of coming down. There was an entry here. This is the one that I took. We're basically obviously we're coming up here. We have this really bearish reaction. We come down, we sweep out all this liquidity. You can see all these levels here getting broken. Let me just mark these out so you can see all this liquidity getting swept out, as you can see. Then I'm thinking, okay, this is looking pretty promising. We had a fair value gap here. But I was thinking with all this consolidation underneath, obviously you'd need to see this V shape back up like this for me to enter. Too much consolidation, so I basically disregarded this fair value gap after a while. We started to consolidate again here. Lots of consolidation. I was thinking, okay, if we get a little manipulation below and then a move back to the upside, then I'll probably take this. You can see we cleanly came back below, swept this liquidity again. The final manipulation leg before the reversal was what my thought process was for this, because we've been coming down, as you can see, kind of grinding to the downside in a way. We finally got this clean move to the downside and then this V shape back up. You can see pretty clear and obvious entry. Very, very nice small stop loss, which is what I like, not having these huge stop losses. You can see obviously this would have come up and hit the 1-for-1 in the space of 2 minutes. I went break even on the rest of the position. I had a runner. I think it was up to this high here. So I took off another half my position and I just left the rest of it to run, because I didn't know how far back up we were going to get here. Because obviously we had quite a lot of accumulation here on the way down. Lots of roadblocks on the way back up. Places where price could turn around. So I wanted to take profit a bit early on this one, just because we didn't get that clean vump V shape like this in the market, did we? Kind of ground to the downside. It got a little manipulation. So I kind of treated this area as the full move rather than the entire run down, just because I didn't know how far back we'd get back up. And then you can see if we continue back here, you can see we actually came down, got stopped at break even and on the rest of the position here. But we did get this re-entry, as you can see. Excuse me. We got this re-entry here, another 30-second gap. You can see the kind of thought process here as well. Obviously coming down, we've got this accumulation. We get this move back up, break market structure, retest the previous fair value gap, and then get this really bullish reaction. And then I was thinking, okay, we could get a re-entry here. We obviously just closed above this on this candle, which is where I entered. I remember because I took this on my futures account. Lots of trades yesterday on the futures account. You can see here we come up. We get the 1-for-1. We hit the swing high. So I've hit the 1-for-1 here on this candle, gone break even. And then I was basically thinking, okay, how far could we potentially go on this one? And then we came down and we got stopped to break even again. So basically 2 1R trades pretty much. This one was a 1.5R. So it took half off and then half off again. So 3/4 of what we're looking at, 3/4 or not, is about 1R, isn't it? A half and then half of a quarter is 1R at 2. So yeah, this was a 1R, this was a 1R. Just a bit of a weird day, really. Kind of grinding to the upside. There was another re-entry, I think, somewhere up here that you could have potentially taken. But this was a really not very clean move, as you can see. No real momentum back to the upside. And then as we got to around 4 p.m, we got Trump started flapping his gums. Massive move. Started basically getting some crazy volatility here. I think there was a 30-second long in here, but I didn't take it because I was thinking this volatility is pretty wild. We came down, and then as you can see, we got another. I think Trump said he was going to fire Jerome Powell, basically, and we got a crazy move to the downside. And then we got a really nice entry on this on the 3-minute, I believe, I eventually took. You can see we came up, we came back down again, and then you can see this V shape forming here, this really clean V shape after a lovely sweep of liquidity down here. Look at this textbook liquidity sweep of this wick. And then bang, all the way back up into a really nice 3-minute entry. I just combined a lot of the lower time frames into this 3-minute because I didn't know, with all this volatility, I wanted to be sure that we were going to get this inverse back to the upside. You can see we come up here, we get the entry trigger. As you can see, this one has a pretty ridiculously big stop loss. So I took this with half size because I wasn't sure if we were just going to reverse back to the low. But generally speaking, when you see these V shapes, it's very unlikely that they go all the way back to the low just because of the sheer momentum back to the upside. We've obviously got a really nice BPR here as well, which is where you get an inverted fair value gap down and then back up. This is a really strong area of support. We obviously came back and tapped into that BPR. which is right here. It's called a balanced price range, where basically you come down and up, fair value gap in both directions. Very, very strong. You can see we back tested into that. Of course, we went straight into drawdown on this trade instantaneously. We go sideways and then bang, we come up. We obviously didn't hit the 1-for-1 straight away. It took a little while for this one to play out, as you can see, but it did eventually play out to the 1-to-1. Took half of my position off there, went break even on the rest, and then I had runner targets. One was going to be this level, and then I did have a runner target which went all the way up to this level, I think, because I felt like with this momentum we might just come all the way up and clean out all of this liquidity here. And then if you take a look at what happens next, rolling on, trade's taken ages to play out. We did eventually come up and hit this level here, and then as it got to the evening, I think I just cut the rest of the trade at that level there. So it would have been basically a 2R, 1.7R basically, up to this high. Really, really good trade. And then you can see after that, we kind of retraced, came back down, started messing around. I just closed the position because I didn't know if we were going to retrace all the way down. After sweeping all this low and then sweeping the high again, I just decided to call it a 2R and call it a day. So you can see plenty and plenty of trades all the time with this strategy. I'm not going to waffle on too much because I realized I've already been waffling on for 11 minutes and you're probably getting sick of me already. So I'll leave it here. As I said, you can get alerts and signals for this in my Discord in the description below. Please go check that out. We're growing a nice community there already. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.